So, okay, Jeff, I have some more questions for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Since you are experienced, and I know you have been doing a lot of mental coaching and supervision, and you've also been having a lot of exams for the ICF.
Yeah, I've been doing ICF exams since we started them.
Okay, so that's really a long time that you've
and was involved with the beta testing of the examination process and the competencies, and helped put together the mastery MCC competencies.
Okay, so you really, know the whole way
I've
through.
been involved with them a long time.
Yes, you know them by heart now. So when you, I know coaches are not supposed to give good advice, but still sometimes it's really nice to hear from a masterful coach. What are some highlights that you have seen that, for example, for a more ACC or more beginning level coaching, what can really help you move to next competency level? Could you point out some things that would be good for coaches to focus on, or something like that?
Well, I think the biggest thing I see with beginning level coaches that they don't do is they don't get a really clear focus or aim for the coaching or goal for the coaching session. So they don't really establish a coaching agreement for the session, which is the language of the competencies, is establishing a coaching agreement. They tend to say, well, what do you want? And if you say, well, I don't want to be working 40 hours a week, they say, okay, great, so what do we need to do?
Yes, exactly.
So first it's stated in the negative. It's not what somebody wants, it's what they don't want. But they don't take the time to really engage the person, to help the person get clear about what it is they're really trying to achieve. And I think the assumption that I see underlying beginning coaches' work is that that's just the thing you do, and then you get coaching. And I've actually had somebody say that to me when they finally figured out that no, that's not the case. I thought that's what you did, and then you started coaching. But what coaches need to realize is what you're doing in getting a clear coaching agreement is you're helping that person to build a very clear template or model for what it is they're trying to achieve. And until they do it internally, they can't do it externally. So what beginning coaches need to do is get really clear on what the basic phases are in the coaching model. And they're all the same. I don't care what the school is.
Basically the same.
You get what the person wants in really clear detail. You explore options for getting there or closing the gap, and then you move to commitment, action, and accountability. 3 stages, every model. And the reason that is because that's how the human brain works best.
And it helps if you engage the brain
so,
a bit.
So taking the time, and it might even be 2/3 of a coaching session. It's not like a minute, but it's asking questions, so what is it that you want? Tell me some more about that. Beginning coaches tend not to ask the follow-on questions. What do you imagine it will be like when you have that? How would you know, what would be the evidence that you've really achieved that goal? By when do you want it? And then part of getting a clear aim is also getting clear on where's the person now?
You need to know where they are now.
So if here's where they're going, and you don't know where they are, anything is fine. But you got to know where they are, because if they're here versus here, it's a very different path to get there.
It's a different route to get to where they want.
So for beginning coaches, I think taking the time to get the agenda for the session, where the evidence full blown, where are they now, and then the rest of the session is about closing that.
Between where are they now and where they want to go.
And then once you get that, taking the time to build a plan. And I think the other thing that beginning coaches don't do is they don't check in on the agenda.
During the coaching?
During the session. So if you're coaching for a half hour or an hour, I see them, just touching on getting the agenda, and then they go through and they get to the end, well, did we get what you want? Or maybe not even. starting with the goal or the agenda, checking in with how are we doing towards it, what do we need to do differently, and trusting the client to be able to tell you,
yes,
rather than feeling like I need to do the work.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where a lot of coaches think they have to work so hard and think, where should we go? Instead of just asking the expert who's just in front of you.
Exactly.
So where do you want to go next?
And that's the other thing, is the beginning coaches don't do very well, is ask the client to make choices about the session and how they want to go after something.
Yeah.
Or which, when there is a choice, it's usually the beginning coach, they choose versus asking the client, because they aren't fully trusting the process yet.
Yes.
And that it really is a partnership. I think the other thing I see is the building plans or designing actions and accountability, kind of those last 2 or 3 competencies, they hardly touch on.
Okay.
It's like they do that in like the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. When
they need to be spending, reserving, a good part of the session, for, okay, so those are the possible ways we could go. What actions do you want to take? How do we need to take those actions? What obstacles are there? What resources do you have to bring against that? So when are you going to start? When are you going to finish? What are the, in-between steps? So that they're really designing how they're going to take action. And then helping the person to design what kind of accountability is going to support them.
Yeah.
Versus just assuming that you're going to be the accountability. So I think, those are the things that I think stand out to me, that separate those that pass easily at the PCC level versus those who don't or struggle.
Yes, to pass to the PCC level. Yeah. Okay, that's good hints.
Yeah. So, and it's, the basics.